Hey friends, I'm going to guide you through step by step how to build your own online community or a membership site using Circle. This is a look at what we're about to create step by step, an online community that has a mix of spaces and forums for community, events featuring office hours, member hangouts, and even coaching calls, courses. I'm going to show you how to create courses inside of Circle, and I'm going to show you how to make a premium community so that people need to pay with different access tiers to get into your online community. So here's an exact look at what we're going to cover. I'm going to walk you through how to set up your own Circle, how to create these community forums and spaces that we just saw, how to create events that are a mix of live streams, live rooms, and different styles of events in your community natively in Circle. I'm going to show you how to build courses and set different access point to courses and different events using paywalls with tiered access. So we're going to create a couple different paywalls that people can upgrade or downgrade to. I'm going to show you some really cool things you can do with coupons and invitation links to build your online community. And I'll give you a quick guide on how to set up some nice onboarding practices for your own online community using Circle. Let's dive in. All right, friends, first things first, if you have not yet signed up for Circle, you can go to my link, joshhall.co/circle, to get a free 14-day trial. And we're going to get real creative on this one. We're just going to call this Circle Tutorial Community. Yes, this is a private community. And we'll go next here. Of course, you can fill this out. For your details, 10 million plus. And I heard about it from Josh Hall. Thank you guys, if you would be so kind. Click finish. And we are off and running. Now, Circle has a nice guide for you to help you get started. I'm not going to follow this exactly, but you are welcome to if you want to take this step by step here. Got some basics there. Branding is a next best place to go here as far as your Circle goes, as far as your colors and your logo. And we'll stick with this Circle blue here, so that's fine. And then you can upload your own logo. I'm going to leave this just as the text logo that I put in there for now, but 200 by 50 is going to be the ideal logo side. This is what you'll see here in my community, Web Designer Pro. So we'll actually take a lot. Actually, we're going to look at my community a lot because we're going to mirror a lot of what I have in my community over here for our test site here. And then these little icons that you see here on the side, on the left here, that is going to be your icon. So I would definitely recommend doing that. And actually, just for testing purposes, we'll upload the one that I have from my community, Web Designer Pro. There we go. We'll save. And then one thing I will follow here, yes, you can confirm community access. So we'll mark that complete. I'm going to go ahead and start setting up spaces. We'll go into the paywall and some other stuff here next, but we don't have to follow this exactly. So I am going to kind of plan a structure. And again, Circle has done a really good job at guiding you through how to do this for yourself. But if you'd like to follow what I'm going to do, as I showed you in the beginning, we're going to have a few different spaces. We're going to have a space for community, a space for coaching, different levels of coaching, and then a space for courses. Those are going to be our main spaces. I'm going to go ahead and mark this complete. This will tell us here where to set our home feed, which is actually really slick here in the settings. So we'll go through all this here. I actually want to start with creating a few of these spaces, and then we'll come in here and adjust some of the general onboarding settings and main home settings. So let's just dive right in and do some spaces. I'm going to go ahead and take this out completely. I'm going to edit space group, and we're going to delete this entire group to kind of make it our own. So that's deleted. We can get rid of the getting started there. Yep, don't need to see that. So we got a nice blank slate to start off here. Now, the thing to remember with Circle is that it's all about spaces. And with spaces, you can set up individual spaces in groups. So what I want to do is set up a few space groups, which is very similar to what I have in my community, Web Designer Pro. Again, coaching, community, and courses. This is just the example that we're going to roll with. We may even make a member central section here too. So let's start with that. Let's add first off a space group called, we'll call this community. And then we have some details about this entire group of spaces that we can set here. And I would keep this at default for now until you need to really customize the level of access on here per group of spaces. So let's create that. And there we go. Now we see we have a community space. Let's delete this space group here. We don't need that for now. And then let's add another space group, and then we'll start adding little forums and spaces within these groups. So let's call this one coaching. This is where we'll do some live calls and some other coaching aspects. And then let's have a space for courses. There we go. So the 3 big C's in our case here: community, coaching, and courses. Let's start off with community, shall we? Let's actually move this one up. And then we'll have coaching under that, and then courses will be below it. That's a nice setup in this case. So again, we're just building the structure of our Circle community right now, and then we're going to start to fill in the details and then get really granular and detailed with the onboarding processes and things like that. And the difference here is that we're not going to add a space group. We're going to add a space within that group. And you'll notice with Circle, when you click to create a new space, there are a few different types of spaces. You could do a post space, you could do events, chat style space, which is going to look a lot like Slack, or you could do courses in a couple different styles as well. This is what you see in my community here when there are different types of formatting for discussions and forums. So in this case, this space has kind of a grid view of posts. And then in this one, for example, they're both spaces, but this one has a completely different layout. This is more of a training archive with thumbnails and things like that. So that's how you can customize each one of these individual spaces. So let's do just a standard post. We'll just call this discussions. Sounds good. And then with each one of these, you can, yes, choose an emoji, a special shape, or if you would like to put custom images in, like you see in my community here, we've got some custom images like for my newsletter and for my courses, which are the course graphics. You can do that as well. So we'll just choose this emoji for now. And this is going to be open. As long as someone is in the community, which is a private community, then this is going to be open. Now, you can set certain spaces to be private or secret depending on the level of access that the community members have to this group of spaces. So that's always an option. And then you can also select some different notifications options here as well. Generally, I usually just go basic and then adjust this accordingly. And there we go. We have our first space. Now, I'm the only member of the community so far, but as more members join the community, you will see those folks show up here. And then I can go one step further, and this is where I can create the layout of this space here under Customize. And this gives me the option to create this space layout. I could do kind of a feed style, which would look more like a Facebook wall, a grid, like a list style, or the card style, which is what you've seen here. So again, in my community, Web Designer Pro, this is card style, and most of my forums and spaces are the grid style. Then you can have the option to set a cover image here and even a mobile thumbnail if you want to. We're going to keep this open. And from here, you could even get more detailed if you want and add this to certain paywalls. You can create a lock screen if somebody is not yet a member, but they happen to get this URL. You can set a button to where they have to join your community in order to access this space. You'll be able to see the members of this space and separate options here as well. So we're going to keep this simple and save changes. We'll make this a feed view. And if I do, and actually I want to start here with formatting a post itself, because when you use Circle, one thing I love about Circle is the actual text editor, the post window. So we'll call this first post. Yay, I'm going to go ahead and throw an emoji in there. If you wondered how I just did that, I used on Mac Control Command, what did I do? Control Command Spacebar will open up an emoji window anywhere you're online, by the way. So there's a separate little tip for you. Although you could right click and do an emoji here too in Circle. First post, yay. And then here is what's really important with Circle. You can embed certain media, you can format certain posts, and you can do that here in the text window by clicking \. This is going to give you all the options for adding things like paragraph text, headings, bullet lists, numbered lists, quotes, dividers, emojis, and then you can upload certain types of videos and all kinds of stuff here. So I'm going to do a little bit of both here, just as I show you how this works. Let's go back to my community, Web Designer Pro. I'm going to head into my Members Central area. And I'm actually going to just pull one of these videos here. So actually, I'm just going to completely rip off the copy that I have here in this section. And even though we're in discussions, I'm just going to use this as an example here. All I did was copy and paste that text, and it's automatically formatted. It doesn't pull in any weird code or anything like that. It's just like perfectly formatted. So you can add things here, as you see, with attachments, videos, and stuff like that here as well. But that's going to actually attach all these elements to this post. But if you want to embed something, that's where, again, you can do the old \, and then there you go. So off window, what I've done is I've actually copied the URL for a YouTube video that I created with my top 10 features that I love about Circle, which is actually posted below for you. And I'm going to embed this URL. So all I did was take the URL of this YouTube video, and then again, / choose the, in this case, let's do it again for you. / go down here to YouTube, and then I'm going to paste that URL. And now this will be seamlessly embedded inside this post. And you can actually watch it inside the post. So you will not have to do something where it like goes to an external window. You can literally just watch it right here. This is just testing purposes. Of course, I'm just kind of playing around here, but I wanted to show you some of the main aspects of the Circle text editor and text window because it's super handy. So that looks good. We'll go ahead and publish this. And we have, my friends, our first discussion right here. And you can see how nice it looks like formatted. And again, you could watch this right inside the post without it clicking off unless you wanted somebody to click off. So that's how we create this post. If we do a second one, back to discussions, let's do a second post just for testing. Test post 2. I'm going to go over here and pull one of my newsletters from my community. Just drop it in there. Let's publish this. I want to do this because I wanted to show you what this feed is going to look like. So we've got a couple posts here. Use the first post I did there, second one. And then if I wanted to adjust the view of this, if I go to list view, you'll see it looks a little bit, again, the grid style. And then if I wanted to do the card style, that gives me the option here. And that's what that's going to look like. You'll see if you do a card style, you really need a featured image in here, like a thumbnail. And with each one of these posts, you can do just that by going in here to the settings. And then you'll have an option right here for a card view thumbnail. That's what's going to show up here. So for testing purposes, let's just use Unsplash for this one. Looks good. Cool. Yep. And this is just a beginner's tutorial, but you could really customize each one of your posts and each one of your spaces with all the details that Circle allows here for you. So let's save this one. And again, this is where having that little card thumbnail will look nice because you won't see it here, but you will see it back here in the card thumbnail. So when you see my training section in my community, these are the card thumbnail. But actually, we can even look at success pathways. So because I have it like that, I have a set of card posts here. And if I go into these, you'll see it's here as well, but that is actually a different image. If I go back, you'll see if I edit this post, there's no image here, but I could put a cover image. So we could choose that same one for the cover, and you'll see it's formatted a little bit different as far as the width there. So I just wanted to show you this in case you're wondering where some of your images are going on your posts. All right, looking good. Let's save that. Now, for this discussions section, we go back here, the card view with this thumbnail, we click in and the thumbnail is there as a cover as well. So that's just a quick overview of creating a space and getting used to how the posts work in Circle. For this one though, let's go back to the card view because you'll see, or the list view, because the list view will not show anything out here until you go into a post, and then you'll see that. And if we go back, I think if we do a feed, it will show the cover. And there we go. Yep. So feeds will show the cover, and that's how you can organize those. So now that you have a good idea of how the Circle spaces, space groups, and posts work and how they're formatted, let's bust through creating a few more of these to make it look like we have a fully functional community here. Let's add another space inside of community, but this one is going to be a chat. So it might be topical, or it might be just anything chat related. It'll look something similar to Slack. Let's make it inviting with a little hand wave. And we're going to get really creative and just call this chat space for now. We'll keep it open. And you see this is formatted differently. Now, when multiple members are here, or if they're invited here, they'll pop up here on the sidebar. And again, the space looks different. You can tell right here. Test chat. It shows up exactly like a DM would, which this window looks exactly like your DM feature here in Circle as well. So that's looking pretty good. The last community piece I want to add right now is I'm going to do something similar that I have in my community where members actually get to have calls with each other that I, as the admin, maybe not even need to be a part of. I have a space in my community where literally only members of my community, Web Designer Pro, have weekly hangouts. And if you're wondering how I do this, we just create a space and we make it an event space. Add a space. And this one we're going to call event. And don't worry, I'll show you how to attach the live call and the live stream feature onto this. And we'll call this weekly hangout. We'll grab a nice little emoji to give this some life. And then we are coming along. And now you'll see, because this space is set as an event, it automatically looks different here because now I can actually select an event. We'll get to this in a little bit here because what we're going to do is I'm going to attach this to a live call feature. So we'll come back to this, but I want to finish building out kind of our sidebar of spaces here. So this is a good start with community. Let's go ahead and dive into coaching. A few different things I want to do in coaching. I want to have two separate aspects of coaching right here. I want to do calls that are like office hours that the entire community could be a part of, but then I want to have a level up that's more of like group coaching sessions. So we can do that by adding event spaces as well. And again, you could make chats that are exclusive to certain members, but in this case, we're going to do an event. I'm going to call this office hours. And actually, one thing I've learned as a community builder is to specify whether things like office hours or Q&As, if they are weekly or monthly. So we'll say we have monthly office hours, like a monthly Q&A once a month. And I say that because now we can look at a calendar and we'll make it more of a calendar style. Yep, we'll make that open. And again, it is an event. So we've got several different space types already. We've got forum style, which we could customize, as you saw. We have a chat space, and we have an event style space. So same thing here. We're going to do another one, but now we're going to do one that is like a coaching, like a group coaching call. This will be for premium members of this community. And we're going to make this one weekly. So let's add a space. This will be an event because it's going to be something that we actually create an event out of. So we'll call this weekly group coaching. And you might say, well, we're in a little bit of a pickle now. How are we going to differentiate the icon between monthly and weekly? Well, I'm going to say that I want weekly group coaching to show that we're really going to dive into helping people in our community grow their business. So we're going to use a business growth looking icon here. That'll show a little bit of difference between monthly office hours that answer questions and group coaching. But again, you can customize this however you'd like. And let's say too, in the way of coaching, let's say maybe you have like something similar, like success pathways or playbooks or something like that. Let's do that. Let's make a section called playbooks, or a space, excuse me. Make sure I use the right terminology. Now this one can be posts, and we'll call this playbooks. And you can customize your icon again with something custom. For now, we'll just make it look like these playbooks have put them on the right path. Cheesy dad pun with this little road icon. All right. And already, look at this. Like it's really starting to come to life here. So we've got community, we've got coaching, and then let's add a course. And there's a couple different ways you can add courses. You can do it right here by adding a space here in whatever group it's going to be a part of, or you could go into courses and then do it like this as well. So let's just go down here. We'll start it down here. Add a course, next. Yep, self-paced. Call this Sales 101. How's that sound? And this course is going to help that moolah fly. All right. And now I can actually create this course. So we'll get into this in a little bit here. I'll take you through the course dashboard, but I want to finish building out this entire community setup. Let's add one more course just so we can see what it looks like when we have multiple courses. And we will call this one Marketing 101. And we'll find a handshake for this one. All right, so we got Sales 101 and Marketing 101. Now when I go to courses, you will see both of these courses here. They are in draft mode right now, but I'll go through here shortly and show you how to build an actual course and all the details. But for right now, guys, this is looking pretty good. We've got community spaces, we've got coaching spaces, and we've got a couple courses. Now I want to do something similar to top this off, which is kind of like a Member Central section like you see in mine here. So let's do something very similar. Again, we're going to do a separate group this time, and we'll call it just that, Member Central. So we've got an entire group space called Member Central, and then we'll have a space that says Get Started. And I'm going to literally just do what I did on mine. So yep, there's a little new icon. New, it's open. Let's do one more here in Member Central, which is a Member Introductions. We'll go with that emoji for now, and looking like a legit community. And I meant to address this earlier, but as you see here, there's a links section where you can create different links that would link to anything external. And out of the box, Circle has links to download the Android app for your community or the iOS app. So we're going to leave that just the way it is. You can see I have some additional ones here. So you can create separate links if you want to link to a website or a different blog or anything that you want to link to separately that's outside of your Circle. So let's dive into building out some of these calls. And I want to show you how to mix both live calls in with the event feature. So you'll see here, Circle gives you the ability in Circle to go live natively in Circle. And if you didn't happen to watch, I have a video for you that walks you through this in a little more detail. That's going to be linked below. I have a video with some of my top favorite features along with a deep dive into my community, Web Designer Pro, to see exactly how I'm building and running mine. But what I cover in more detail there is that you have a few different types of live options. You can go live right now inside the community. I can start, which is going to be more webinar style. It'll be like Q&As, really good for Q&As, webinars, presentations, trainings. And then there is a room style live, which is what my members do, which is where they're like hangout style. It's kind of like Zoom meetings to where everyone could be on screen if they want to. And it's not a webinar style. It's just a live room style. And then you can also attach this to an event. So let's do that. Let's create our office hours, shall we? We're going to schedule a live event. So we'll just call this Office Hours with Josh. Actually, let's call this Office Hours Q&A with Josh, just so people know the difference between Q&A and a group coaching. And here's where I can select this space. This is why I started out with spaces, by the way. And you'll notice here, it's not allowing me to select all the spaces that we had set up. It's only allowing me to select the event setup spaces, which we had set up 3 different spaces that were events. We had the weekly hangouts, office hours, and the weekly group coaching. So this is going to be our monthly office hours. And again, this is going to be once a month. Let's say we do these every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern, my time. And then here is where you can set up recurring events or recurring calls. So we're going to do every month on the last Thursday, and then event ends on, let's do this for a year. And since these are office hours, I'm going to take questions and it's going to be more Q&A style. So it's not going to be a room of all the members. So we're going to do the Circle live stream. As I mentioned, there's the live stream and then there's the live room. We are going to do the live rooms for the Hangouts, but for these events here, the Q&As, it's going to be more just Q&A style. So live stream. Now with the event feature in Circle, you can pick different locations. They could be in person. You could do an external link, like a Zoom link for a training or YouTube Live. And then again, either the stream or room. So in this case, these are all going to be the live streams. We are going to record it live. Yep. And then yes, absolutely. We will automatically post the recording to the event. So some that I don't have to do separately. Gallery looks good. Save the draft. Now watch this. As long as everything looks good, we're going to publish this in all events. And now with those published, if we go under events, you'll see every single one of those office hours that I had set through February 2025 is right here. Very, very cool. Now let's do the group coaching, which is going to be slightly different. So I could go in here and I could create events directly under here, or I could also do it under the events tab. Doesn't matter. Let's make it easy and go to the weekly group coaching. We'll do a new, and I will call this weekly group coaching. And I don't want to have the exact same title as the space, so we'll call this, well, I can always change this. We'll say coaching with Josh. So there was like Q&As with Josh, and then we'll do coaching with Josh. And this you can, of course, assign this to different people if you have different community members who lead calls or things like that. And you can actually assign them as a host right here when you have multiple members. So yep, group coaching. And this is going to be weekly. So we're going to do these calls on Wednesdays. And yeah, we're going to do every Wednesday for a year. And then we can adjust this event. We can extend it, or we could create a new event. Now, the location on this one, again, instead of it being a stream, like a Q&A style, webinar style, this one is actually group coaching. So I want to talk to my members. It's going to be a smaller community. If it's only going to be maybe a dozen or so people, we're going to make it a room. And that's what's going to make it look a little bit different. And then, yep, we're going to record it, automatically post the recording to the event once it's done. Save the draft, publish, all events, refresh, and there we go. Coaching with Josh is all set up for a year. And you'll see this is built out by month. So the way Circle does it is really nice and organized. And then once an event is done, then it will show up under past. And again, since we had selected the recorded option here, it'll automatically be under past, and then the recordings and replays will be dropped there. Now, this is just under weekly group coaching. So you'll see all the coaching calls. However, we have different events now too. We have the office hours for the entire community. So if I go to events, now we're actually going to see both. We're going to see office hours and coaching calls. So you'll see here, there's always 3 or 4 coaching calls with office hours sprinkled in there under all events. And you could do this for in-person events and different type of events as well. So speaking of different types of events, let's add our community hangouts, which you could do weekly or monthly. And actually, let's change this, member hangouts, because that's going to be a lot of calls. It's going to look like a lot of calls. So, and actually, by the way, if you ever change the space name, just remember the URL for this event is still, in this case, weekly. So we're going to go back and call this member, just in case you ever wanted, for SEO purposes or linking purposes, to keep this similar and streamlined. So we're going to call this, oh, I reverted, I didn't save it, member hangout. Because I'm actually going to do these once a month. So these are going to be rooms as well. We'll call this monthly member hangout. Again, can always change this every Friday at lunchtime, once a month on the first Friday. Again, we'll go out for a year. And then similarly, we're going to make this a room. We're going to make sure all the members who join this, whether it's a few people or a dozen people, have the opportunity to hang out with each other. And these are not going to be recorded. Since they're just hangouts, that's not like a training or something that's going to take up room. Remember, when you record these, it's going to count towards your storage option in Circle, which we'll cover here next. So we're not going to record the member hangouts. We've got that all set up, right? Yep. Let's save this, publish all the events. Our member hangouts are set once a month, monthly member hangout. And there we go. And again, you could put monthly member hangout here, however you want to format this, it's totally up to you. And we have created a few different styles of events that are all now showing up under events, like the master event thread. So you'll see monthly member hangouts, coaching with Josh, and then office hours. And not all communities are going to have this amount of calls, but I just wanted to show you how you can select these different types of events. And again, you could do this in person if you wanted to have a space for in-person meetups or member events. Under location, it's going to be a in-person event, and that'll give you the option to add an address in there. And when you do set up calls, you'll see here, now you can customize each one of these posts individually, and your members can RSVP to these. So once we start adding members here, it'll give them an RSVP link, and it's going to automatically give them an option to add it to their calendar. This has helped me dramatically with increasing the amount of members that I have in my calls, which are a mix of Q&A sessions and trainings. So make sure you encourage your members to RSVP, definitely helpful. And then again, there's some nice details here, and we could fill this out. We could add a cover, we could add details. And you might be wondering, how do I go live with this event? Well, once you get closer, I think it's within like an hour or so, there's going to be a button that pops up here that will allow you to go backstage and go live. For right now, I'm just going to randomly go live. Let's start a live stream. Again, this will not be attached to an event. This will be a test. Test live. Put the deets here. Record the stream live. Yep, sounds good. And then here is where I can invite members if I wanted to. And I'm not on video currently, but this is where you'll be able to test your video, all your settings. And then now I can actually go backstage before going live. So I can test things and try things out. When you have members join these calls, you'll see the chat here. You'll see the members who are here. And that's a quick look at the live window. Again, I'm not on video right now, but that's exactly how that would look. And then from here, I'll be able to click to go live. And it's as easy as that. But again, I showed you that because we go back out here to one of the calls. You will not see a button to go live for this until about, I'm pretty sure it's an hour beforehand as an admin. Otherwise, yeah, if you just go live randomly and it's not attached to the event, then this event is still going to be waiting. It's still going to have that button to go live. So you need to make sure on each one of these events that you just go live shortly, but leading up to the call, it will show there for you. All right, friends. Well, we are cruising right along. Before we take a look at creating paywalls and adding some members, I do want to just show you basics of the course builder here. When you create a course in Circle, you'll log in here and it'll initially show you all of your members and their progress in the course that you have set up here. But in our case, we need to create a course. Now, luckily, Circle's course builder is second to none. It's super easy to use. Way I like to think about courses are modules and lessons. So we're going to create, instead of calling this a section, we'll call this module 1. We're not going to get too creative here for time purposes. We're just going to add module 1. And then we're going to add a lesson under the module. So we'll keep this super simple and just say 1.1. We're going to publish this one, 1.2. And you guessed it, 1.3 published. All right, now let's add module 2. Looking good. And is the module? Yeah, the module's live. So the module will be shown, but the actual lessons you can choose to be draft mode. All right, we have a couple modules with some lessons. Now I can go in and actually build the lessons. So with each lesson in Circle, you have the option here to either enable featured media, which means you can upload a video directly or even embed videos, which is how I do a lot of my courses. And then you can have files. If you have downloads or anything like that, you can put those right here. And every lesson will have different tabs. I'll show you what that looks like here. Let me get some dummy content for us. Let's say we want to embed a video that's like from Vimeo or YouTube. Actually, I'm going to use that same video that I embedded previously. My favorite features of Circle, which is below for you. So that's how you can embed that. But again, you can natively upload a video in Circle as well. And I'm actually over in one of my courses in Web Designer Pro right now. I'm going to take this content just to show you how you could format a course lesson of your own. So I just pasted that content in there. And then you can see here that I have a download that, again, you can go into the post. And remember, if you want to add media or a download or something into this content, what do we do? Yep, \. That'll open up this window. And then I can choose a file to put in here. And I've got a file in my downloads folder for us. This is a spreadsheet based off of doing a task inventory to help web designers scale their business. So it's not like a visual PDF, although you could do a visual PDF here. And you can also put this under files. Now, it's up to you whether you'd want to have downloads in the content or just have them in the file section. I like to do both, just in case a member may happen to miss it here or even miss it up in the files tab. And I'm sharing you this because I want to show you what this looks like as a student. So it's published. We're going to enable comments. Yep, it's going to give us some different tab options. And then if we view the lesson, here's what that's going to look like for our members. They're going to see the video. They're going to see all the content we just posted and a download right here that they could click to download. They'll also see it up here. So up here, there's going to be the comments. I could write a comment as open. Actually, this course itself is in draft mode. So let's go ahead and make this live. So let me go to the course dashboard under customize, and we are going to publish this entire course. All right, now we're live. Now let's go back into lesson 1, view the lesson, and then I can comment here. So the comment section under courses looks a lot like the DM as well, and people can add GIFs, media. And again, these tabs up here, people can choose whether they want to see comments, the lesson structure, or the files. And then one thing that I absolutely love about Circle that is available for any post, any comment, anything in Circle is the bookmark option. Now, this is really handy if I take you over to my community, Web Designer Pro, because I have a lot of courses. There are so many resources here between trainings and even resources that members are producing in here. I could go in and save certain comments. So let's say I want to know how to do a Google Business Profile verification. I can save Marie's comment here. And now under my bookmarks in my Circle, I just saved her post. I said comment. I meant to say her post. Her post is automatically here that I can refer to anytime. You can bookmark posts, comments. Let's say there's somebody shared a win and you're like, gosh, I want to keep track of that. You could have you could just bookmark comments that are wins for you and you could repurpose as testimonials. You could bookmark events. You can bookmark lessons and courses, which I just showed you how to do. You can even bookmark DMs and messages as well that will only show up for you. So this feature here, the bookmark, especially for courses, is really, really beneficial and helpful. And it is that easy, friends, to set up courses in Circle. And again, in the course itself, if you go back to the dashboard, here is where you have some more options to customize it, add thumbnails. Let me rip off a couple of mine from Web Designer Pro here. I'm just going to drag and drop these images. So under customize, we can add our images here. Let's drag this one in. And I wonder if they'll relabel this because right now it says mobile thumbnail, but I believe this is the thumbnail for the course. Let's save and go back out to courses. Yep. It says mobile thumbnail, but that is the main thumbnail that you'll see here in the course. Now that we have a community set up, we have spaces, we've got community stuff, we've got calls, we've got events, we've got courses. Let's make it so somebody can join this and have different levels of access points here. Payments. Yes, natively in Circle, you can create paywalls and take payments without using a third-party plugin. So as you saw here, just as an admin, you can click up here and it's going to give you all of your admin areas here, including looking at your members in more detail, every post if you want to look at what's been posted, all the spaces. We looked at lives. We'll cover some of this stuff next, but I want to start with paywalls because what I want to do is create 2 different payment options for this community. This is a paid community, but there's going to be 2 tiers. There's going to be a tier that gives you access to most of the community stuff, but then only top tier members will get access to the weekly coaching. That's going to be a little more direct for me as an admin. So let's make a paywall. At the time of recording this, Stripe is what is able to be connected. I'm sure eventually they'll include some more payment options, but go ahead. And if you have not yet signed up for Stripe, and you can connect your Stripe right here, and then you'll be prompted and guided on how to connect your Stripe with your Circle. Now, once connected, we can create paywalls. So let's create a paywall here, and it's going to give you options for, again, different tiers of paywalls if you want, or access to everything with one paywall. Let's just start off with the basic tier. And again, getting super creative with our terms here. We'll just call this basic level. And then this is going to be on the checkout window. So you could say something like, cool. Now we can go to pricing. We're going to add a price. This is going to be subscription. So it's going to be monthly. And yes, we'll do monthly. Let's do $39. So this will be our first tier. You can do like an upfront, like a setup type payment, but for most communities, it's not going to be the case. And then you can offer a trial period. So you could absolutely say, let's say we do on the basic tier, you could say like 30 days free trial or something like that. And then it'll kick in the subscription. They would still need to put in their credit card details, and then it would kick in after 30 days. That's an option as well. And then we are going to do a subscription group because you can have different groups of subscriptions. As you see here, this is the basic tier, but then we're going to do one that is kind of the coaching tier. For right now, let's just stick with this. And here's where we can give access or hide access to this paywall. So this is just the beginner level. So for the beginner level, we don't want access to all spaces. We're going to give them access to, and I think if we add all, yeah, we can remove them from here. It's actually easier because the beginner level is getting most everything except for the group coaching. In this case, what we're going to do is they would get access to everything except playbooks and group coaching. So that's exactly how you would assign access or not access to different paywalls, different tiers. And then they're going to get an option here where you can direct them to a thank you page, a completely different URL if you want to set up a separate experience, and you can customize the email as well. Yeah, we'll just stick with what Circle has here for us. We're going to publish, and there we go. We have our first paywall. Now I want to show you what this looks like on the outside. This is going to give you a URL. So this link here will take us to Circle tutorial community, the basic level, which is $39. They can fill out their details and then pay right here. And then that's going to bring them into the community. Next up, we're going to set up onboarding sequences, but let's first add the top tier. So now we want to add a different paywall. We're going to call this coaching level. I'm going to copy what I have here for this text. All right. This one is going to be subscription as well. Every month, and we're going to do $99 for this one. Looks good. And this is going to give access to everything. Anyone who goes on the coaching level, which is the top tier, they get access to everything. A little bit different than what you just saw with the lower level. Yep, we're going to stick with this. So we've got our 2 different levels, the basic level and then the coaching level. But if you go to the checkout window and refresh, we're still only going to see this one because I had taken the URL from this one. This is when you need to make a subscription group to group these together, but allow people to upgrade or downgrade into each one of these levels. Now, there's a time and place to only have a coaching level, and somebody shouldn't see a lower tier. So that's what's kind of cool about the way Circle has this set up is if you just want to send people to the coaching level and then send some people just to the basic level, you can totally do that. But when it comes to members managing their accounts moving forward, if you do want them to upgrade or downgrade, then subscription groups is where it's at. So you can see right here, subscription groups allow you to group a set of subscription paywalls to upgrade or downgrade in between them. So let's create a group. We'll just call this the Circle Tutorial Paywalls. And now with that created, which I could have adjusted that on the default, but now we can go into these paywalls and we can add each one of these to that group. And if you go into pricing right here, upgradable subscription group, we're going to put this in the paywalls that we just set up and allow members to self-cancel their subscription. Absolutely. Save this one. Now we need to do the same thing for the basic level. So we'll go in here, same thing. We're going to upgrade it to the paywalls, which again, you could make this as simple or as complex as you want to, because you could actually have different levels of subscription groups, but we're getting a little wild with that. So we're going to keep this fairly simple. Yep. Allow members to cancel their subscription here too. Cool, cool. So with both of these added to the subscription groups, the thing is, we're still not going to see the options here. But what you could do is on a pricing page or a pricing table, you could have both set of options, $39 and the $99, and then link them accordingly. But when somebody pays for one of these, they'll then be able to downgrade or upgrade within Circle. We'll look at that in a little bit here too. There's one more thing I want to do here just to show you a level back from these paywalls is, let's say we want to do an annual option. We'll do this real quickly. So let's add a price, subscription. We're going to go annual. This one's going to be $3.99 for a year. If they want, whoa, whoopsie. Let's make sure we get that right. Ah, looks right. Cool. Now there's two options within this level. Let's save this. And now if I look at this link, it's going to show me the two options. So again, I could do basic level for $39 a month or the annual subscription for $3.99. And you could do this for both options. I just wanted to show you that because that's how you're going to see different options. But again, a member, when they choose this, is going to be able to adjust their subscription. Let's actually do that now. I'm not going to actually pay for this, but what I'm going to do is while you're in here, it's good to know about how to set up coupons or trials. There's a couple different ways you can actually do this. You could set up an actual coupon to send one person or numerous people. Or the other way to do this is to create a link. I'll show you actually how to do both. Let's create a coupon and we'll just call this promo. This is just for our reference. And we're going to say that this is a percentage discount. This is 15% off the community ongoing. Or we could even say, like, let's do 15% off, but it ends, let's say a year of 15% off right here. And it's immediately redeemable. Anyone could use this as long as they have the coupon. But again, it's only 15% off for a year. And we are going to attach this to all paywalls, but you could do specific paywalls as you see here. You could say this is only optional for the coaching level or for the basic level. So we're getting pretty detailed here, but I just wanted to show you in depth on how this works. So we have a coupon set up. Now I could send the link, or I could send this to somebody and say, hey, just use code promo for 15% off for 12 months. And they're like, yes, I'm in. Or if you even want to go a step further and make it a little easier for somebody to join, or make this to where somebody or groups of people could just click a link to take advantage of this. Let me show you how to do that. If we go into members, we don't have any members yet, but we can create invitation links. Now watch this. This is pretty cool. I can create a special link for somebody to not only get a trial of this community, but then they would get that discount for up to a year, for example. We'll call this test invite. Say coaching level. Make it easy on us. They're going to get access to every group of space. So you could go individual spaces, but if you have a lot of spaces, that can get tricky. So we're going to do this. They get access to everything. And then, yep, when they join, they should go to the homepage. Now check this out. With this invite link, they can choose a paywall. I'm going to make this for the coaching level. This could be for monthly, or if there was an annual option, it could be annual as well. Like if I did the basic level, now I have the option. Remember, after what I just set up, they could choose that. So we're going to do coaching level. And here, any coupon that I set up, I can automatically put in this invite link, and let's give this a trial. Let's say 30 days. So this link is going to give somebody 30 days free trial, and then they're automatically going to be at the coaching level, and without them having to put a coupon code or anything, and it's automatically going to give them 15% off for a full year. So they get 30 days free, and this coupon will be automatically applied, all by creating this little invite link in the members area. Now I can take this invite link and somebody could sign up. So let's do that. Let's sign somebody up, shall we? Now, invite links will not take somebody to a paywall. They take them directly to the community. So that invite link takes me here. So let me fill out a profile here. This is Jim Shorts. And now Jim can join the community. By the way, you're seeing this little logo here. It's because I have not put an official logo into this circle. But if you put a logo in instead of just the icon, it will show up here. So let's join. So Jim Shorts is going to fill out his profile info. And the most important thing that Jim is going to make sure he does is to go into his notifications, and he can select which notifications he wants, which ones he doesn't. He also wants to make sure he has the right time zone in here, because when you RSVP for events, it's going to give you a countdown and calendar invites based off the time zone. So make sure your members know about this. And here, like I mentioned earlier, we wanted to make sure somebody had the ability to upgrade or downgrade into the different coaching options or the paywall options. And Jim has a billing option right here, and you'll see it right here. Now he is in trial mode. And then once the 30-day trial is on, it'll tell him when it renews. He gets 15% off for 12 months with that little invite link I showed you. And here's where he can upgrade or downgrade. We're going to add another member. So to make this less confusing, let's put a photo in for Jim. Jim just happens to look a lot like Andy, one of the co-founders of Circle. What a coincidence. So let's go ahead and save Jim's photo there. And I've actually gone and I'm going to make a coupon real quick. This next member is going to actually pay for a subscription. I want to show you what it looks like in their billing side of things. Let's grab the link for the basic level, because I want to show you what their access will look like. All right, so this new member just paid for a subscription to the basic tier. This is Sally. We're going to put Sally's picture in here. Now I want to show you something, because remember, she's on the basic plan, but as of right now, if I go into group coaching calls, she can see the coaching calls and RSVP to them. But remember, she's on the lower tier, so she should not get access to these. So what you need to do, if you're having issues with any of your payment gateways, and even if you've set up everything correctly under Paywalls, what I recommend doing is going into the space, going into Paywalls, and we can see here, yep, this should only be on the coaching level. I think it's good to do a little bit of troubleshooting here. But what we actually need to do is, yes, the basic level isn't in here, but it's still open to everyone in the community. So in order to make sure that certain spaces are only within certain space groups, we need to make it either private or secret. In most cases, private's going to be good. That way members can see this, and then they could upgrade to get access to this, because if you make it secret, then it will be completely secret. But we're going to make it private. So I'm in my admin window now. We need to make sure this space group, or excuse me, this space is private. And remember, the playbooks are also supposed to be private. So we'll go in here. This one's private, save changes. Now let's go back to Sally's profile. And there we go. Now, because Sally is on the basic tier, she cannot get access to this private space, because this is only for people on the top tier. And you can see that the icon changes here in Circle as well. But again, Sally could go into her billing and upgrade to the coaching level if she wants to. She'd go to coaching level, and if she upgrades, then she would get access to the coaching spaces here. All right, just a few more things I want to show you here as we're back into the admin profile here of this community, which again, I mean, in just a little while, we have created a full-blown community with spaces, discussions, different levels of events and coaching with different paywalls. I don't know how long we've been going, but not that long. And of course, I'm getting pretty detailed in some of these aspects, but you could get a full community set up in less than a half hour if you're following along step by step here. So a couple last things I want to show you. Again, below, I have 2 videos that will really help you out. Some of my favorite features of Circle and a quick video below for you, and an in-depth look at my community, Web Designer Pro. And you're seeing multiple communities here on the left-hand bar. If you have multiple circles, you'll see just that. One thing I did want to show you is notice how some of these icons, there's like graphics on some, but I just came from my Circle tutorial community and there's no graphic here. But if I click in to the community, oh, there's a little icon there. What's with that, you might wonder, Josh? Well, I'll tell you. If you go in here to customize theme, this is where you can put the community icon in for either light mode or dark mode. Now, there's no icon in dark mode, which is why this is not showing here. So let's put that icon back. This is transparent. So now it will show via dark mode as well. And again, you can put your community logo in here. Otherwise, whatever you call your community, that's what's going to be right here. And you can actually adjust your brand color for both dark mode or light mode. And you can set which one is default. We're going to keep default at light. But for me personally, I like dark mode. So let's go in over here. And now when I log into Circle, I'm going to go into dark mode for this community. Very, very cool. A couple last things I want to show you. We've really accomplished most everything I want to do, but I want to show you a few final things here. A lot of this stuff here I covered in the video walking you through my community, Web Designer Pro. So make sure to check that out below because you're actually going to see real member details and how to get a good pulse on what's going on with your community. I do cover workflows, so I highly recommend checking out workflows. Now, workflows are on a different tier for your Circle community. So you need to make sure, I think the free trial is for the basic tier, but you can upgrade to the business tier and a few different plans that will suit your needs. So Circle can really grow with you and your needs, which you could go to plans here under your profile, and it'll tell you exactly what's available for you depending on the plan that you need for you and your business. Again, Circle is really built to grow with you and your community to be able to enable like all these features here. Just a couple last things I want to touch on here. You can go to your lives, and every time you do a live stream, no matter what space it's involved in, it's going to show up here, and you'll actually be able to go and look at the details if you have a live that was recorded. Actually, let me take you into my community. If I go in and look at my lives, because it's more established, I see every one of my live calls, even the weekly hangouts. But again, these are not recorded since they're just hangouts. I can see who has attended as far as in the way of participants. I can download the call to repurpose it if I wanted to. And then I could go in here. If I view the details, I can look at the details on the call, and I can actually post this to a different space if I wanted to. If I wanted to take this out of its usual space, we could go in and download the chat log if people want to see comments from the live chat, transcription. Everything here is available for you in the live window. And again, you can adjust your storage needs for you and your community with how many calls you're doing. And again, I'll say it again, Circle can really grow with you depending on your needs for your community. Now, last thing I want to do is just mimic what I have here in my community where people have a starting, like a getting started space. So I'll show you exactly how I have this set up. In short, you want to make sure when somebody joins, they go to ideally a start here type thing to guide them through. Again, what I have in my community is a quick tour of my community Web Designer Pro, give them tips on adjusting their profile settings, which we looked at with their notifications and time zone. And then I recommend that they go to introduce themselves. Now, we had already set this up in our community in Circle. So what I want to do is that post was right here. We're actually I want to show you how to move posts in different spaces if you want to. We're going to call this welcome. And instead of discussions, I'm going to move this to get started. This is going to be our getting started post, which now you see right here. And the way I have this set up is you want to go in to the paywall itself because you can actually have a different starting point for different paywalls. We're going to go in here, edit, and then under post purchase, here is where I can direct them to that paywall. Here's where I can direct them to the right URL. So instead of, you could go to a thank you page or anywhere else, or you could even turn on or off this email. I like having it in both places. I want to put that post right here in the URL. So we're going to go back out to get started. I'm going to take this URL right here. I'm going to put it in the redirect for the coaching level. And now when a new member signs up, in your community, it's going to take them here to the get started space once they join and sign up. So I wanted to make sure I showed you that too, because you want to really provide a nice onboarding experience, and you don't want to have somebody just thrown right into it if they don't have a good, clear guide to help them get started. And additionally, you can also adjust some onboarding settings here under members. And then there's a tab for onboarding right here. Here is where you can adjust some more of the emails and like the pop-up communications and things like that for all new members who join your community. And you can even adjust their access for certain onboarding sequences as well, if you want them to opt in spaces and not automatically get access to the entire community, but they could still have access if they wanted to. That's always an option there as well. And that's really it for now, friends. As far as this beginner's tutorial, we covered some basics, but we also got a little advanced there with some things you could do with paywalls and all sorts of stuff. Again, I have some more resources for you below, including a look at some of my favorite features of Circle that we have not covered, and then an in-depth look at my Community Web Designer Pro to show you exactly how I built out this community, all of which the idea is you can take to your own communities and make it your own, whether it's more of a community forum discussion type thing, or coaching and training, or courses. I mean, one thing I love about Circle is it's really community, coaching, and courses that you could do all together and customize this your way. And oh, there's one last thing I wanted to show you that is important. If you don't want to have Circle as your domain here, you actually want to have your website name, you can go under settings and under custom domain. Here is where it'll give you the instructions to make your custom domain in here that's, again, branded towards your website and your branding, so you won't see, community.circle.so. It's a good place to start here, but then you can add this in here to make your own custom domain. And as you've seen here, we have created a slick, fully built out community here that is ready to go, payments ready to rock. We can make our own, and when somebody logs in, they're going to have their home feed. And again, depending on their paywall that they join, they'll have different access here, as we saw. And you are ready to rock and roll, my friend. Boom! There we are, friends. If you followed me step by step there, you now have a live, functional online community or membership site using Circle, and you're ready to go. And again, I've got a couple additional resources for you that I think are really going to help you. One is just a short video with my top favorite features of Circle that we haven't covered here. And then one is an in-depth look at my community, Web Designer Pro, to show you exactly how I built a community that at the time of releasing this video is a $250,000 annual recurring revenue business. It's why I'm so passionate about online communities. I hope this video has helped you. More resources down below. Cheers to building your own online community. As you can see, what I showed you here is exactly why I trust Circle, and I'd recommend that you do the same. Cheers.